amazing love, how can it be? Show me the way to your heart. So far beyond my comprehension, this love above all measure, I wanna be living inside your love. Wanna be closer than close, deeper than deep inside your love. This is heaven. I wanna be higher than high, free my soul to fly. I wanna see heaven. I wanna be living inside your love. I love you deep, I love you high, I love you wide, I love you forever. I see you smiling, Chelsea. I love you deep, I love you high, I love you wide, I love you forever. Hey, Robert, one of my favorite males is in the room. Inside your love. This is heaven. I wanna be higher than high. Free my soul to fly. This has gotta be heaven. And I wanna be closer than close, deeper than deep inside your love. This is heaven. I wanna be higher than high. Free my soul to fly. Feels like heaven. I wanna be living inside your love. Living inside your love. Living inside your love. Yes.
Well, thank you. Welcome everybody to this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. This is the Love Masterclass, and it is going to be, like I always say, fire. You're welcome today. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube, do me a favor, share it right now. And if you're in the Zoom, go on your social media and share it. Go on Michelle McKinney Hammond and share this live on Facebook and on YouTube. Go and share it right now. Put the fire emoji. Put it. Let's get it cracking. It's going to be a great, great night. Let me tell you something. Right now, I'm like, man, the ministry that Dr. Michelle is in, specifically, she's known as a relationship expert, right? And I think somewhere last month, I went to her and I asked her, I'm like, you've been preaching for over 20 years and you've been talking about relationship for over 20 years. Aren't you sick of it? And she's like, you know what? The people are always different. So it's not, I maybe saying the same thing sometimes, but it's always a different crowd. I'm like, Kali, how long have I been with you? Like 4 years now? I'm like, it is so good all the time. And I'm telling you, tonight is going to be another amazing night. Like Dr. Michelle always say, study for everything under the sun. We go to school. If you're African like me, your father will drag you to the highest height of school. It is a honor to have all the degrees in this life, but we don't study for relationship. There's not a lot of material out there to help us out with relationship, and that's why the beautiful, ever talented, gorgeous, I always joke and say, not right now, guys. She has about 40 more years on planet Earth. But when she finally goes home to be with the Lord, after the cremation, I'm just going to gather just her brain and then just put it. I always joke, I'll put it in a locket and like put it and wear it. So maybe somehow brain will just seep into my body. But we have her here tonight to help us out. Yes, guys, you guys already know the drill. You're telling us where you're from, We have people from Philly on Facebook. Tell us where you're looking on my phone. Tell us where you're from. Yes, get this going. Have we shared it? Have we shared this live? Let's go ahead and share this live. I'm seeing your comment, guys. So sorry, I just wanted to give people a couple more minutes to join us. Dea is here. She's one of the elders from the MMH ministry, and then she's also an alumni of the Love Masterclass. She's like a pro right now in this business. Yeah.
Hi, Dea. Say hello to the peeps. And I want to introduce Dea to you a little bit more because she will actually be facilitating the Love community that is attached to the class. And she has done it so spectacularly for the last 2 semesters that we have that she's, you know, I could probably just shut up and Dea could teach the class now. I mean, she's got it down. I mean, she's amazing in her own right, with her own ministry and her own courses going on, but she has always been showing up for me, and I appreciate her to the highest height for that. I see that we've got people from Long Beach, South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, Philly. Yes, we're doing, you know, I am actually right now in Ghana, West Africa. And so I am 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, but I stayed up because I wanted to be able to talk to you at a reasonable time. I want you to be able to go get your church on, get your lunch on, and then make it back to your computer to meet with me. I've had quite the day. This is Ghana's independence celebration day. And so I spent my morning with the president and the president of Ghana and the prime minister of Barbados, with the most spectacular parade. Oh my goodness. I sent a text to Tega. I said, Tega, I'm crying like a baby. I want every person in America to be here right now to see this, to see the pomp and the circumstance and the parade with all of the regalia, and the chiefs came out in their kente and their gold, and the armed forces were there in their uniforms, and then the acrobats performed. And I mean, it went on for hours, and it was blazing hot sun, and a horse looked like it wanted to faint, and a couple people did faint and were carried off the field. But it was a spectacular day that just reaffirmed me as a person. And I'm telling you, it was just amazing. So that's the exciting morning I've had. And now I get to talk to you. That's even more exciting. I am so pumped and so ready to get into this. Dea, say hi to the peoples before I get started.
Oh, hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here again with everyone. Michelle, thank you for that sweet introduction. But I have to say, even though she said I was a pro in the Love Masterclass, let me tell you, it is the course that keeps on giving. I still feel that I have to learn once again. If I took it twice, and both times I was so surprised of the questions that I couldn't have asked myself. You know, many times I had to think about what it was that Michelle was trying to teach us. And, you know, the growth was so tremendous. And I'm still in awe of how much I have learned. And I'm excited to join this next round once again. And I know that I'm going to get even more. I'm going to go even deeper. So I want to encourage you to keep an open mind, keep an open heart, because this is not the type of course that you take one time and then you close the book and it's done. You're going to see, I don't know, I think in some strange way, Michelle, that course sort of attracts the right situations to put us in the place of thinking back of what we learned, and now we get to apply. You take the course. Don't be surprised if 2 weeks later something happens and you're going to go back to that lesson. You're going to say, wait, Michelle said, and you're going to get to put it into practice. The execution is the best part of the things that you're going to learn. So I'm really excited for all of you that are here, and I hope that you will sign up for this next semester.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I wanted to give you a taste of what the course was all about, because sometimes I feel like there's so much on the internet offering you things and you don't know what you're getting, and you sign up and you find out you're not getting much of anything. And for me, that is a no-no, because this is the passion of my life. Why is it my passion? I don't know. I'm just built for love, okay? And I've always been fascinated with romance and stories of love. And I was one of those people that loved to read as a child, and I read all the romance novels. But now what that does is put a lot of unrealistic thoughts in your mind, because it doesn't tell you about the process of love. It just gives you the excitement and the chemistry of it without laying out a foundation of how to achieve this passion and this undying and unrequited love that these people have in those stories. And so, to be perfectly honest, I made a lot of miserable mistakes. And I had mentors who tried to talk sense into me, but you know how it is when you're young. I was a millennial before there were millennials. I thought I knew what I was doing. So I would say, thank you for the information, and then go do whatever I felt like doing. And when I messed it up, I'd come back and ask them to fix it. How many of you have ever had that type of cycle going on in your love relationship? If you've been there, done that, put it in the chat. Just say, been there, just been there, been there. Come on now. I know that I'm not the only person that didn't take advice and came back. Yep, been there. Okay, Chelsea, I know some folks have been there, so this class, I want to get rid of the been there's, done that. I made a lot of classic mistakes. And the thing that I love about my life and love about God is that he put, look at that. See, we've all been there where we said, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm doing this, right? I'm grown, right? And then came back and said, here's my heart. Can you fix it? No, it's broken in 100 little miniature pieces. Now, I'm going to tell you that although I was doing all the wrong things, I was surrounded by people who did the right things. And so I decided I would start studying those people. Because people say, well, Michelle, how'd you learn so much about love? Well, between what God says about love and living examples I had in my life of people doing it the right way, getting the results that I wanted, and they were still eluding me, I began to take the principles that I saw playing out in their lives, because there were some things there that were in common. And I have to tell you, people say, I don't like to play, I don't want to play games, but in a way, love is a bit of a game. Not that we play games with people, but there are strategies to getting the love you want and need out of life. And if you don't follow the rules, you will scrape that heart, bang that heart, break that heart, shatter that heart 1,000,000 times and wonder why. Because after all, you're a good person, aren't you? You loved from a pure place in your heart. So why didn't that person love you back? That is the question, right? I want you to put in the chat for me right now, what seems to be your greatest struggle when it comes to relationships, or your greatest question? It might be as simple as, why does the same thing keep happening to me all over again? Or it seems like everything's going great, and then all of a sudden that person ghosts on me. Trust is a big factor, okay? Ooh, lots of trust issues, wow. Overlooking red flags, that's good, that's good. Balance in marriage, all right. It's interesting. I posted something the other day about women taking care of themselves first. And I noticed that a man commented and said, okay, I am unfollowing you. And I was like, really? I mean, because the end of the comment was, when you take good care of yourself, you're then able to be in the position to take good care of someone else. What do they tell you when you get on the plane? If oxygen runs out, put your oxygen mask on first before attempting to help someone else, because you can't help somebody if you're dead, right? You can't help someone if you're broken, right? You can't help someone if you have unresolved issues, right? You're going to keep superimposing those things onto this potential partner and blow that relationship, and hence the cycle begins. Now, there are a lot of interesting things here. My greatest struggle seems to be not knowing or understanding how to interact or understand a man, honey, you come to the right place because I'm going to break it down for you. I tend to be sarcastic when I like someone and unsure as to what questions to ask them. Okay. And don't we handle all of this there in the class? But I'm just going to give you a few principles today because I want you to come back. We're going to do this again next Sunday. But I want to lay out some things that are really important. Healthy, reasonable person would understand that, yes, knowing when it's time to let go, freeing up space for God's blessing. But there were a lot anxiety about dating. Oh, that one's good. You know, I always say dating is not for mating, it's for collecting data. Now, what I want everyone to do is just close your eyes and just shake off all the anxiety you've ever felt when you met someone, when you're wondering, you know, is this the one? I want you to get rid of all of that right now, okay? Now, I want you to take a deep breath and say, okay, love is a job. You say love is a job. So what does that mean? Is everybody on here working? Have you ever been to an interview? Put in the chat for me if you've ever been to an interview. Job. Okay, everybody. I'm working. Yep. I have. Okay. What happened before you got the job? Tell me what happened before you got the job. What did you have to do to get the job? Interview, research, prepare. They vetted you. Oh, okay. Are you tracking with me? So if love is a job, why do you hire people that are unqualified or people that you don't have enough information on to know if they are the right person for the job? I heard that all the way in Ghana. Come on now, if that slapped you across your head, put in the chat, slap me again, slap me again. Now, what that means though, is that you've got to understand your value, okay? It's not just about what you're getting, it's what they're getting. It starts with what they're getting. And that's why we're going to talk about getting you whole. You know, the word says that long before you were fashioned or thought of, or the earth was even formed, that God had you on his mind to be made whole and holy by his love. Okay, whole. Why did he want you to be whole? He wanted you to be whole so that you could be holy. We're talking about holistic living now, your state of heart, where you're whole, you're complete, you understand that you're a prize so that you're not making choices from your void, but rather from a place of value. Okay, you know, Amazon knows they're a big company, okay? Twitter knows that they're a big company. And so when they're hiring people, they usually go through headhunters, and there is a process for getting hired there. You're going to interview and you're going to prepare for that interview because you've got to be able to have the right qualifications be evident in your conversation, in your posture. You see, it's not just about what you say. It's about how you say it. It's about body language. It's about all the things that reveal who you are to your prospective employer. Now, same thing. Let's flip the script now because you're the employer. I want you to become the employer. You are not the employee. You are not selling yourself. You are seeing if someone is qualified to do the job of being in your life. Got that? If that just hit you, say, slap me again, slap me again. Because see, you know, it's all about mindset when it comes to this. If we go into the dating arena desperate, if you're married and you don't know your value, you could have a husband and still be acting like a single person from your state of heart and your state of mind because you don't realize your value and what you bring to the relationship. So you're always auditioning. Okay? This is not an audition. We're going to flip this. You are in the space of interviewer. Now, I'm going to tell you something. One of the classes we do, Daya, right, is all about job descriptions, because I think that a lot of us have bad expectations. And when our expectations are not in line, we don't know what to look for. We expect the wrong things and we always get disappointed. So we got to understand the job description so that when that person does the interview, you know if they qualify for the job or not. Now, I went somewhere the other day and I stepped into the room and this guy walked up to me and said, "Oh, I think I want to get to know you." I said, "Based on what?" I just got here. How do you know? And this is what happens. It was a classic example of, oh, I like how that person looks. I'm feeling the chemistry. This is it. And this is where we blow it. Dating is not for mating. It is for collecting data. You are collecting data to see if this person qualifies for consideration to have access to your heart, for consideration to be courted. Okay. So what are we looking at? When you go shopping, there's some things you look for. You look for fabric. You look at the fit and you consider the finance. Love does cost something. Sorry, J-Lo, like the song, think you're gorgeous, but the song lied. Love is not for free. It costs you everything. Okay? So that being said, this is your life we're talking about. This is your heart we're talking about. You cannot afford any more heart damage. You cannot afford to add to the baggage you've already got. This class is going to help you unpack that baggage. We're going to break cycles. We're going to illuminate your understanding on what to look for. We're going to get you in a place of self-confidence and get you to the place where you achieve your goal in your relationship and walk away fulfilled from the course. You see, you should be fulfilled no matter what your status is, because love begins with you. And when you love you and you love your life, you will attract the love that you're looking for. And you'll be so over it by the time I'm done with you that you'll be able to step back and assess and say, let me check this out before I decide if I really like this person. And that's not playing games. That's coming from a place of wholeness where you now see your value and you have a decision to make on, is this person worthy of my attention? That's not an egotistical comment. What it means is that you now understand what you need in your life, what your expectations are. And trust me, expectations are different from standards. We'll get into more of that. But expectations and standards are not the same. You need to have standards. Standards are internal, and we'll talk more about that. But expectations are those externals that can shift. Someone said to me the other day, I know a guy that's really enamored of you and I want to introduce you to him, but I'm not sure if he's your type. And I said, really? How many of you have a type? Quick, put in the chat box for me if you have a type. Let me see who has a type. Somebody said, slap me again. I cannot. That's funny, Carmen. Anybody else have a type? Okay. Tell me what that type is like. Just quickly, 3 words. What's the type like? Okay, I got a couple talls. All right. Tall, tall, tall. Ah, that's your type. Are we married to the type yet? In love with Jesus and tall. I love this. Okay. See, we've got a couple of standards and we've got some types going on here. Okay. Okay. I love that. Okay. So this guy, I said, so what is it that you think I might not like about this guy? She said, well, he's not handsome. I said, but is he cute? Is he easy on the eyes? I said, well, he may be, but I know that you like them chocolatey, and he's not chocolatey. And I said, I think I'm over it. Okay. I mean, yes, I love chocolatey, but about now I want kind. I want God loving. I want someone who celebrates who I am and releases me to be all that God created me to be. That's what I want. I want someone who's got a great sense of humor. Okay. And is ready to rock and roll with the process of life and love. So you see, when we get into standards versus expectations are, I want him to be tall, chocolatey, and have hazel eyes. I mean, I like that look, but it might not be the house that has the other stuff in it that I want. And so for me, I'm over it now. I'm over the externals. I have standards. My expectations are subject to change. I have found some very interesting looking people to be fascinating and sexy as I get older in life, based on my standards and the internals that I'm after. So I'm going to ask you another question. What do you want your relationship to look like? Not what you want the person to look like, but what do you want your relationship to look like? Quickly put in the chat for me what that looks like. Open and honest, that's a good one. Peaceful and strong. See, these are values. We're getting into now, what do we value? What do I find valuable? Uncovering the world to get soulful. Healthy, peaceful. See, these are values, and you've got to be very clear on what you value before you approach any relationship. I had a friend, he's been divorced 3 times now, and I asked him, what did you look for in the person when you were picking who you were going to marry? I never really thought about it. I just kind of went with the flow. Well, you know what happens then, right? You settle for anything, and then later you find out it's not what you wanted. So I'm going to help you get very clear about exactly what you're looking for, because you know what? It's hard to find what you're looking for if you don't know what you're looking for. I remember one day I sent Tega to my room to get something for me, and it wasn't something she had ever seen before. And I told her where it was, but she couldn't find it because she didn't know what she was looking for. So I finally had to go and get it. And guess what? It was exactly where I said it would be, but I knew what I was looking for. You've got to know what you are looking for. It is the first rule of cutting the fat out of your relationship. Okay? So now, the next thing that I want to ask you, based on what you're looking for, is tell me 5 things that you value. Let me see that in the chat. 5 things that you value. Come in. Oh, I'm
Okay, while she's getting that done, I was going to steal a minute to talk more about the class before she continues. And I'm liking the interaction so far. It has been so great. Before she gets here, I'm just going to share my screen and take you guys through the course. Let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen. We'll talk about what you are looking for. Oh, okay. All right. So this is what the Love You Masterclass. This is what the Love Masterclass looks like. I'm sorry, we changed the name for copyright reasons, and it's taking everybody a minute to get used to the new name. So this is the Love You Masterclass site. It is very
Love Masterclass.
Jesus help me! Oh, Love Masterclass. Excuse me. So we made it very easy so everybody could access it, and then it is straightforward. Once you sign up, you would immediately get a message before the class starts on how to log in. There is a video and everything to teach you how to get into the course. And when you come here, you see the dashboard and welcome message here from her that just welcomes you to the class. You can pick that and listen to the class. And then when you come down here, you have watch your lesson and do the homework. Might I say the class comes with a workbook. So you have a workbook that goes along with every class. And there are 10 lessons in each module. There are 6 different modules. And with each module is 10 lessons. So altogether you have 60 lessons. Okay. And then you see we have module 1 is a big picture, module 2, heart work, the real deal on love, dating, mating, and relating, the business of love. So when you come in, you can just click on the big picture. Give us a minute. Ghana's internet takes a minute to load. And then all you have to do, so you can see, I shot the class and edited it, but you can see that I'm taking the class as well. As you can see, my class is 50% completed, okay? And you come in here, you see your class, you read your message, and then you see the abundant life. Once you watch a lesson, it will tell you that you watched it, and you can proceed and move on to the next. Over here, you can continue with your lesson if you left it and you want to continue from it. It picks back off where you left off. You don't have to go to the beginning again to get it working. And then we have the community page. It's a closed Facebook group, and I'm telling you, Dea is on that group. I'm like, girl, she's on the group all the time. It is great. There's also a private WhatsApp group too that you can join, and you can have access to Dr. Michelle on that group as well, and as also in the Facebook community page. You can do the homework. It opens up the workbook for you to download. They are all writable files. So if you are old school and you like to download it and print it out and write in it, you can do that. Or if you're more millennial and techie like me, you can just type in you can answer the questions and type in the workbook that are here. They talked about the questions. Let me tell you something about those questions. I want you to read these questions and imagine Dr. Michelle's voice in your head. It will haunt you for the rest of your life. I promise you that. You're trying to do something, you'll be hearing a voice side of your head. So those questions, take your time, baby. Take your time. If you sign up for this class, take your time with these questions because it is intense. It's to get you the results you want. I just want to encourage you today. I'm not saying it because it's me. I'm saying it because this class is actually what you need. And we've made it in such a way that if you can't take the whole class, you can go ahead and take each module. You can read through the modules and see which one you want. You can take module 1 on its own if you want to. You can take module 2 on its own if you want to. You can take the different classes if you want to. And we also have an early bird special right now that is going on right now. It's going to end on the 18th. On the 18th? On the 18th. It's going to end on the 18th, and you take that. There's also love capsules. Okay, love capsules are just summary of what the class is about.
Scroll down so they can see early bird. The early bird is that, listen, here's the thing. The class has a lot of content, okay? So it's priced, and it's still underpriced, but it's priced. But I want people to be able to take this class. So I have come up with 100 different ways that you can take the class to meet your financial space that you're in. So right now, the early bird special is almost 50% off, and there's a payment option for that. If you pay for it fully, you'll get 1 free one-on-one coaching session with me. The other option you can do is there is a discounted class that does not include the live master classes with me, because after the end of every module, which is every 2 weeks, you will have a Q&A master class with me. Where those are fire, because by then people have done all their homework and done the class, and they've got 50 million questions or comments to make. And one time we had to schedule an extra one, right? Because everybody just cried the whole time. We had to reconvene.
class one time, the live session was on for 5 hours. I left.
Yes, they wouldn't get off. I left. They were still there talking.
Okay. I left. I'm going to bed. You can go on and keep talking. Okay. That's the beauty of the
Was that
class.
the
It
sex
gives you
class? I
great-
think that was the sex class.
that was a sex. It gives you great community, because everybody is vulnerable, everybody is sharing, people are healing. You can see from when people start the class, and by the time the 6 courses are over, you can see the difference in the faces of people. I know it's Zoom, but when we log on and you see their faces, you can clearly see the growth, you can see the difference in class.
And what I love is that we have created a safe space. And one of the beauties of the class is not just the benefit of the class, but the community that's formed. So they even have their own WhatsApp page, and the semester was over how many months ago? And they're still talking. They're still talking to one another. They're still exchanging. They're still praying and for one another, posting encouragements. And that just blesses me. That's a blessing that I've gotten out of the class, is seeing the change in people's countenance, as well as the community that's been formed and how people just love each other. Because as I've said,
No, I wanted to add that in between the 2 semesters that you had, some of us experienced withdrawal symptoms. We felt lonely because after every module, there is a master class, and the master class is real time live with Michelle. And many of us had, before coming to the MMH community, we've only heard of Michelle in books. A lot of us, many of you here might have read her books or heard her music or have heard of her. Then you have her every 2 weeks, literally, even though it's on the Zoom, it feels like she's in your living room. So when the class was over, needless to say, we were feeling like, where's Michelle? But we missed the classes because it is such a great community.
Yeah, I personally get friends from the class. I built personal relationship with different people from the class.
They sent her presents. I mean, what is that all about? I'm just gonna have to, have a talk with Jesus about it. But anyway, let's get back to the class for a second here, because I see some very interesting things in the values. Oh, and might I add, we did talk about love capsules, right? So if you're a person who does not have time for this class, but you want the cliff notes on this class, you can sign up for love capsules, and they come to your email automatically 3 times a week, giving you 2 minutes of something for you to work on for the week. Okay, so there's so many different options. So make sure that you go to the website and check them out. And for those who register tonight, I am going to send you an extra freebie. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to send you an extra freebie. Now, I'm going back to your values. I see respect. I see honesty. I see integrity, spiritual time, honest, kind, faith in God, peace. Peace comes up a lot, and I think that is a very important component in relationships. When we talk about being in relationship with God, it says the kingdom of God is righteousness, peace, and joy. Righteousness is right alignment. So right alignment with God, right alignment with other people is what produces peace and joy. We have joy when we have peace. If we don't have peace, we can't have joy. And so there is a progression of things that takes place for us to get to a place of wholeness in our relationships. And it's important for you to know your values up front. The guy that wanted to introduce me to the guy, when I said I was over it, that I didn't have to have chocolatey tall with hazel eyes anymore, he said, well, what do you want? And so I started listing the things that I wanted. He said, check. He says, okay. So he checks every box that you've mentioned. I said, oh, shoot, well, he got possibilities then. Okay. So am I now going to throw out a package that's caramel instead of chocolate because they not chocolate, but they got the caramel in the middle? I don't think so. I haven't met him yet, so I'll keep you posted. Anyway, all of that to say, knowing your values, knowing who you are, knowing what you want in life. Remember, I asked you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want your relationship to look like? How is that relationship going to complement the vision that you have for your life? See, now this is not being picky. You know, how many people have been told in the room that you're too picky? Let me see that you need to lower your standards. Let me see that. They always say that, right? Well, maybe you're being too picky. Why is it that there's something wrong with you? Why isn't it that your standards just haven't been met yet? Do you think Amazon jumps on the first person that applies for a job? No, because they know their value. They know the potential of their company. They know they have to have the right employees to maintain a certain standard of service, a certain standard of excellence that makes them who they are in the marketplace, correct? So when it comes to you, you've got to think about what the standards are for your own personal life, what your goal and vision is, who you know yourself to be, who you know you were called and created to be, who you know what you're going to do in life and how you're going to affect other people in life. Does that person complement what you know about yourself? These are the types of questions we're going to deal with in depth in this class, because it's not a short conversation, but it's an important conversation. It's the type of conversation that will change your life. I believe that love is possible. I believe that there are faithful men. I believe that there are amazing women that should be free to love as they were created to love. I believe that God created us for love, and he has every intention on us having great, whole, and holy relationships that produce peace and joy and fulfillment. But salvation is free. Everything else has requirements and things that have to be put in place. He says, my people err for lack of knowledge. And if we had the knowledge that we needed, we would have the life and the love that we wanted. And so that is what I am here to provide for you in 3 months. We're going to spend some time together because it takes time. And I literally want to mentor you to your next level. So I wanted to call you to order tonight and just push some of your buttons, get you to think about, what do I want? Who am I? What do I want? What are my real standards? Are some of my expectations unrealistic? Have I marked people off the list who actually had the potential to be the right person?
Michelle, since you spoke about,
Dare, give me a minute. I'll come to you. We have a few more seconds, but I wanted to take some questions. Okay, so if you have questions, maybe we can take 2 or 3 questions. Because I believe that that's your sweet spot. You're really great with answering questions. So if you have questions, send them directly to me. If you're on other social media platform, YouTube or Facebook, send it and I will ask the questions. Go ahead, dear.
I was just going to mention, since you spoke about standards and expectations, one of the things that I learned from the Love Masterclass is when you spoke about us lowering our expectations and keeping our standards high, because it made me think that expectations makes us feel entitled. Like when we have high expectations, we come across as entitled. But when our standards are high, I started feeling deserving. I started aligning with what I deserved as opposed to what I thought I needed. And that made all the difference. You know, it places you. This class will place you. And like you said, Michelle, your own words, okay, these are Michelle words, be positioned for greatness. You'll be positioned for greatness. You'll be positioned to receive the blessings that are designed for you, because a lot of times when we're looking for love, when we're alone, we're comparing ourselves to other people. Well, they have it. They got married. They had this. Instead of saying, what is it that is there for me, that is designed for me, that is something that God has for me? You're going to start to look at yourself in a different way through his eyes, not through your own, not through your, like you say, not from void, but from value. And again, if you have your expectations of other people up here, you're going to, by far, you're going to start feeling entitled. Well, I deserve to have that, instead of, well, I should get that, right? You start saying that instead of, you know what, I know what I deserve because I know who I am. So the most important thing that I walked away with was a strengthened sense of self. I walked out saying, you know what? I know who I am. I know that I need to work. I know my weaknesses. I was able to identify where my values were, what was my belief system. And even though when I thought about it, when I had to answer those questions, it took me a minute to answer. I still felt that process of thinking about it placed me where I needed to be. And this is what this class will do for you. You're going to walk a different walk. Okay, you're going to put a pep on your step, as we say. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, my mission really is to get you to a place of wholeness, no matter what your status, so that you're attracting the love you want. It's got to be the right time. The right person at the wrong time is just as bad as the wrong person anytime. And so there's a timing issues. There's lots of different factors that sometimes we overlook, and then we end up diminishing our value because we feel that, well, I'm not in a relationship, so I must not be all that. I must not be lovable. I must not be attractive. And sometimes there's a process that God is taking you through to prepare you for something else. As we look at even characters in the Bible, there were significant people who were single for long periods of time and were only aligned as purpose came into the picture. And so when we understand that the purpose of God's idea for relationships, it also releases us to not be so critical of ourselves or to be in such a rush, because purpose is attached to relationship. God is very strategic about aligning teams together to accomplish things that he's created us to do. And so I just want you to really take the time to think about, what are the repeat mistakes that I have made? And what cycle do I want to break when it comes to relationships? Okay, there is a question here. How do I get a one-on-one coaching session with you? You can go to my website. There is a coaching tab, and you can press that button and make an appointment to see me. I do take appointments. I keep a limited list of clients because I like to be able to focus. So you can sign up that way, or when you sign up with the class, depending on what option you select, one of them does give you a free one-on-one coaching session with me. Otherwise, you're going to have me every 2 weeks for 3 months to walk through step by step the things that I've laid out for you to have careful consideration. I'm glad to see that there are some men here, because I think that men have a lot to contribute, and that they also get stuck and have to have a safe place, to share and exchange ideas. Robert is a regular though, so we pull on him to tell us stuff, but I'm glad to see him here tonight. And P. Youngblood, I don't know what your first name is. So Mr. Youngblood, welcome, welcome. And I think there are a couple of other men on. And so we welcome, it's not just a class just for women. It's not just a class, just for singles. It is for everyone that wants to get this right, who wants to go through the thought process of the things that they may have overlooked, to uncover the areas where they might be not getting it where it needs to be in order to have that relationship come into alignment. I mean, there's lots of little things like, we had a talk the other day about, pacing relationships, and nobody thinks about that. We just get so happy that the person is calling us 3 times a day that we don't stop to think this is not sustainable. And at some point they're going to burn themselves out because they're not going to be able to keep going. And so they ghost. They were having a good time, but they realize they can't keep it up. So there's so many little subtle things that you've got to know. And a lot of it, is it sounds like old school by the time you get it. But you know what? There are time tested and true patterns to relationships that make them work. And so we're going to examine all those things. Anyone else have a question?
Some of the questions that we have here, is a class self-paced or does it move together? The class lasts, if you depending on the package that you go for, it's for how many weeks? It's a 60 lesson course, and you can take it at any time you like, and it's a lifelong membership, so you're not logged out or kicked out after the end. You can access the class anytime you want, even when we're done with the class. Are there any testimonies from the previous participants? Yes, if you go on the site, there is if you scroll all the way down, you would see the testimonial and you would read different testimony. The cost of the class, we've made it in a way where it is affordable. So click on the link that I just put in the chat and look at the
There are
options that
lots
is
of different
available
options. Yes.
for you to
There are payment plans and different
different plans and
options for you.
different things that you can. How much time would I need to devote to the class weekly? It's up to you.
Can I answer the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to make you answer the relationship question. I was just sorry. Go ahead. I was actually techie question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Each of the lessons is about 10 to 12 minutes that you'll watch Monday through Friday. I give you weekends off. And after you've done the class, you will then go to your workbook and meditate. So it's actually great for your devotional time. So I'm not taking up a lot of your time. So it's at your pace. And usually some people, watch one a day. Some people binge on Friday to get ready for the master class. And some people just admit, I didn't finish it all, but what are we talking about anyway? It's up to you. You will get out what you put in, okay? So if you put in the time, you will get the results. If you half do the class, then you'll get half. You can't blame it on me if you don't follow everything in the class, okay? I'm not promising that you'll get married, but I have been able to get a lot of people put together. However, I will say that whether you get married or not, you will be in a far better space and place because you would have done the work inside of yourself. As one person put before the interview, you have to prepare. And what you're going to realize is what you need to work on. And that's okay. Because you know what? When you go to the doctor and you don't know what's wrong and you tell him your symptoms, he gives you some different avenues and ways to treat yourself. And based on if you finish the course, you get well so that you can move on with life, or you stay stuck in the same place if you don't want to follow directions. So this is all about all the stuff that I have gathered over the years, from the word, from experience, from talking to older people who got it right, from observing relationships, from taking classes myself. I pulled it all together so that you don't have to go running all over high heaven to get the information. It's in one place. Okay, Tego, what's the next question?
You have basically also, will I get the info about the meetings? Yes, everything is the class. You will get the info about the meeting. Before we continue, Karen is here, one of our favorite. Karen, hey, you want to speak about the class? Somebody asked for testimonials of the class. Karen is here. Miss Karen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I am an alumni and so thankful for the Love Masterclass. I will say this, if this thing is drawing you, go in the direction of the pull. You will not regret it. The class will meet you right where you individually are. And the one thing that I came to the class with was thinking, I think I'm doing pretty well. I've been working on myself and so on and so forth. But I have to say, two cycles through, and even now, just going back to some of the things that I had to really grapple with by virtue of how I was being challenged about me, never mind, trying to mesh my life with someone else in whatever relationship it would be. I would just add to everything that has been said. Before I can be in a relationship with someone else, I have to be in a relationship with myself. I have to understand who I am, what I'm all about, what I value, what I expect. I have to get really real about those things. And the thing that I learned is that, in some areas, I was right on point. In other areas, I needed to get myself together and understand who I really am. And because of that lack of understanding, I found that I was just allowing anyone, anything that wanted to come into my life because it was better than not being able to relate outside of myself. Well, what I understand now is that everyone wasn't meant to be in my life and everyone doesn't fit. And it's okay. I'm not for everyone, but who I'm for. And it's a wonderful thing to come to that place. I always thought, well, you don't want to be disrespectful to people, just let them in and let whatever happens. Now I'm like, we don't even need to waste time. I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but I just don't see where we're going to fit. God bless you. I hope you find who does. And that is in male to female, female to female. It's in every single relationship across the board. So what I would add to this is that there's a facet of the Love Masterclass that has to do with me, myself, and I that is so critical in laying the right foundation in how you go about approaching the relationship with self, the relationship with family, the relationship with friends. And then after you've dealt with all of that, the love relationship, male to female, female to male. I have to say again, if you are even drawn in the direction of this class and you can do the full, you need the whole experience. If you can do the whole experience, go for it. You will not regret it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, I find it so rewarding to see people come into the knowledge of who they are. They always say that the teacher becomes the student, and it's true. I had to answer all these questions before I could pose them to you. And some of them I'm still working on. So we're going to be working together because they are some deep questions. I mean, literally, as I was doing this course, I was like, really, Holy Ghost? Really? Come on now, ease up. Because the thing is that we don't ask ourselves the hard questions. We want someone to just swoop into life and make things right. But that's not realistic. We've got to do the work on ourselves. Now, there are a couple of questions that have come to me. One said they bought the class last fall that was supposed to be self-paced. I'm just not disciplined to do it on my own. So what can I do? You know what? Why don't you get a girlfriend or a male friend, whoever wants to do it with you, and do it together. That way you'll keep yourself on track, because the only other way is to sign up for the full package so that you are in my eye view and I'm on your case every 2 weeks. So someone said, can I pay directly without PayPal? I believe that when you go in, it gives you an option where you can use one of your other credit cards. So if you have an issue other than that, you can email Tega and we can work out something for you at Tega@michellehammond.com, TEGA@michellehammond.com. Anything else? We will be back here again next Sunday. Invite a friend and we'll continue with part 2 of things for you to deal with and consider. But once again, let's just highlight some of the things I shared with you. The person that comes into your life is applying for a job, and so are you. Do the interview. Next time I'll get more into what the details of that interview are. How do I like being in the motherland? I love it. Today I just cried because I was just so proud. All these beautiful kings and queens marching before me. And I said, who wrote that book when we were kings? We still are. Doggone it. So it's always a fresh adventure. Lots to see, lots to experience, and just a great sense of self and great lifestyle. So I do a tour to Ghana. So get your friends together. You can pick a date and decide when you want to come, and I'd love to show you around. You will be getting some free books with the class. And even a freebie if you sign up tonight and send proof of that to our email. Been single for a long time and need pep in your step. Child, come on, get the pep,
Anyway,
Michelle,
I hope. Hmm?
I wanted to say just one last thing. If for people, if you're still on the fence, whether you wanted to sign up or not, I wanted to just bring back 2 points that were made by Karen and Michelle, both that, just keep this in mind. This Love Masterclass, it's not just for people who are looking for love, okay? It's for if you're married, if you're single, if you're in a relationship already, like Karen said, a relationship with you. It applies to everything. But for me personally, when I walked out of the masterclass, I started looking at the relationship with everybody. Like Karen said, it could be people that you relate with on a daily basis, family members, because you're really doing something for yourself. And the other thing that Michelle said that I think is super, super important is to remember that, the love masterclass. First of all, it's not that it's not hard to do. Okay. One of the things that I wanted to say is how I did it was I picked a time of the day and I always did the class at the same time. So 8:30 in the morning, once my kids were off to school, I would get on my computer. It's not a big time. It's not a long time. It's a window of maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. It's a very small commitment. And if you really commit to that time, it's so easy. It really does. It really is easy. So those things, there's a class that's going to help you deal with not just in relationships, but every area of your life. And it also that it's not just a class for people that are looking for love. It's for people that are already married, being in a relationship and all that. So I just want to, again, reiterate that.
Thank you so much. We have fun. Let me throw that in too. This is not, like deep calleth unto deep. It can be deep, but we have fun, and it is a place where we learn and laugh and grow together. Someone asked a very important question. Can you explain what it means to be whole? Well, first of all, not fractured. And I know that that's still skimming the surface, but when I talk about wholeness, wholeness is found within that parameter of right alignment, peace, and joy, and a great sense of fulfillment. I mean, when I get up every morning, I literally want to kiss God because I can't believe what a wonderful life I'm living. I'm still single. Some days I might even have a financial issue, but it doesn't move my joy meter because I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. That is wholeness. When New Age people talk about holistic living, they're talking about you being fulfilled in every area of your life. Do you know that there's more to your life than just your love life? There's more to life than that. Okay? There's a whole life to be lived. There's profession. There's rest and recreation. There's a family. There's so many other components, and it's like a wheel. And that's part of one of the lessons that we teach is looking at that wheel and seeing where we are with each wheel. How smooth is your ride be if certain parts of your life have not been paid attention to and the emphasis has been on other ones? So holistic is when we've got balance in our lives and there's a sense of well-being because all areas of our lives are being paid attention to and settled. Okay. And I'm going to help you get there. Why do you think people experience drought? Well, I believe that we can all get to that place where we're running on E, where we're not doing anything to refill ourselves. And that's when we experience drought. That's when we get weary. That's when we get apathetic. That's when we give up on things and we feel dry and sluggish and unmotivated because we're not refilling, we're not refreshing. And we can't do that alone. And that's why it's great to be in community like this, because you find out, you know what, I'm all right. Okay. First of all, I'm not alone. Isn't it great to know that too? I'm in a group where I can figure this out. So you've got cheerleaders and you've got a support system that keep you refreshed and keep you moving forward. So I hope that you all enjoyed what we shared tonight. If you did, can you just put it in the chat and say, I want more. I had a good time, but I want more. And we'll be back here again next Sunday. So just see this as we wrap up. Did anybody get anything out of tonight? I want you to quickly put in the chat, what's your takeaway thought? What is your takeaway thought? What was your aha moment, your Never saw it that way before. Moment. Can you put that in the chat for me? Love is a job. Yeah. Folks got to apply. They got to come correct. They got to dress right, talk right, be right before you say you're hired. Okay. The interview process. Yes. Refresh and renew. Yes. Value. All right. Well, folks, dating to collect data. Yes. And I'm going to tell you about the data next Sunday. Okay. Interview. See, y'all been skipping the interview. That's part of the problem. We're going to do the interview. We're going to get the interview right. Okay. Because you can't hire everybody. And we don't need to hire everybody. We just need to hire one. Okay. Well, God bless you. Robert, will you pray for us before we go? I'm so glad to see you on here. You know I love you. Unmute yourself. Or does Tega have to unmute you? Who has to unmute you? I don't think I'm yeah. Tega, I am not a host.
Yeah, I am asking to mute.
Okay.
Am I unmuted now?
Nope. Yes, there you go.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Let's pray now. Gracious God, thank you so much for this day of life. Thank you for this privilege of prayer. Thank you for allowing us all to get together and learn more things about how we can love each other, love ourselves, and bring honor to you. It's so important that we do that, particularly in this time that we're living in. Take advantage of showing love to each other where possible and extend it, because you do that to us. We know your word is definitely there to guide and direct us. So may you continue to do that. May you continue to allow each and every one of the people that is on this call to walk away with something that brings honor to you. So we offer this prayer now, and it's in Jesus' name that we offer it. Amen.
Amen. And see, I asked Robert for prayer so that you would know that there are some good men walking around on the face of this earth, okay? And one of the other things we forgot to tell them, Tega, is that one of the rooms within the class is actually other interviews with other men on the topic of love. So it's not just all about what girls think, it's about what guys think as well. So you get a well-rounded perspective and you walk away equipped to love yourself, love God, and love everybody that he gives you the option to stand in front of. God bless you all. Thank you for attending. Share this with a friend. We will be back here again next Sunday. And remember, love begins with you. Thank you.
Thank